The Miami Hurricanes got a 36-14 dominant win over Florida State this weekend. Florida State's won the last three of those matchups before this one. We have a Zuby Charles with Kane Sport joining us. Zuby, you talked to Josh Newberg earlier this week. You said this could be potentially the best environment of the year for Miami. I want to know if it lived up to that and maybe what the significance is of this game, of this recruiting weekend. In terms of recruiting, when you just talk about Miami 8-0 now trending in the right direction and Florida State kind of trending in the opposite direction at 1-7.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this might have exceeded some people's expectations, including some of the recruits. As the kids, filed out of Hard Rock Stadium last night, it was all smiles from, guys that were committed to the programs, guys that weren't committed to the programs, and guys that were committed elsewhere. Had the chance to catch up with 2025 Miami commit Jabari Antoine, who took in his first game Saturday night, and he said the crowd exceeded his expectations. He said the crowd really did it for him. That was kind of the thing that kind of, had him the most hyped throughout the matchup. Had the chance to speak with 2026 defensive back Camden Portis, who's seen a lot of big campuses throughout the country, and said, hey, even though Miami Stadium, NFL Stadium, it was one of the best atmospheres he's ever been in this year. So a ton of great, feedback from guys as they filed out at the stadium last night.
No, it definitely seems like it's a special time right now in Coral Gables. The team is winning. Maybe people are saying the U is back potentially. But Zuby, I want to talk about the defensive back position because I know that's a high priority right now when it comes to Miami and recruiting. And there's a lot of big names on campus. But I think one of the bigger takeaways for a lot of people is that DJ Pickett, the LSU commit, the safety, one of the best players in the country right now, the number one player in Florida, was not in attendance this weekend. He was expected to be on Miami's campus. He's been there a ton this year. What was the reaction and what were the reasons why maybe that DJ Pickett wasn't at Coral Gables this weekend?
So yeah, he was a late subtraction from that big visitor list, and we had the chance to, text back and forth with his dad, who simply said DJ, wanted to be a high school kid this weekend. It was his senior homecoming. He didn't want to miss that out, but they're trying to, make it back next week for the Duke game. Nothing is set in stone yet, but I think Miami's going to try really hard to get him back on campus for that Duke game. And if they do just that, I think it'll be huge, for their momentum and their recruitment. Obviously committed to LSU, but that, connection with the Hurricanes is there, and he's still giving them a good chance. So if they can get him back on campus in the coming weeks, I think that'll be huge for, where they stand in things.
Now, another big-time flip target for Miami is Ben Hanks, the cornerback for Florida. He's a Florida commit. He's a Florida legacy, so it might be a little bit harder to flip him, but he was also there this weekend. What can you tell us about his visit, maybe the odds that Miami could potentially flip him from the Gators to the Hurricanes?
Yeah, this is his second visit this fall. He visited for the Virginia Tech game a few weeks ago. And, Ben Hanks really likes what he's seen from the Miami Hurricanes. And that staff, since he committed to Florida, he said hasn't changed their approach whatsoever. They're continuing to recruit him as hard as ever. And Mario Cristobal and that staff believe Ben Hanks is the type of player that you can plug into a defense and it elevates them to a national championship, caliber defense. So Hurricanes are all in on Ben Hanks, and I do think they're doing a great job of getting him on campus, kind of showing him the vision, what they see from him, what they expect from him if he does, commit to the program. And we all know Miami's really, really, really big on the 25 defensive back class, and Hanks is, near the top of those prospects they're looking to add to round up that group that's pretty solid right now.
And another one of those targets is cornerback Shamar Arno. He was committed to USC back in June. He's another DB that Miami's turning up the heat on, that they're trying to flip. I know he plays in Carrollton High School in Georgia, but he is from South Florida. What do you think the chances are of him maybe returning to his home state from being a commit from the West Coast, now trying to maybe come back to South Florida and be about what the Hurricanes are about?
Yeah, I think this visit was absolutely huge. I asked him, why was it important to get down to Miami this weekend? And he said, honestly, for the convenience of his family. The majority of his family still lives in South Florida. So having that opportunity to play in front of them every single week, for having them to come to practice and just little things like that is kind of lingering in the back of his mind. And then one thing that he also mentioned was seeing, how Miami rotates their defensive backs and they give a lot of different guys opportunities, something that he really likes. Hurricanes currently have a true freshman starting at quarterback, O.J. Frederick, who was a 3-star prospect last night and has really blossomed, which is something that Shamar likes. I think the Hurricanes are doing a great job of kind of making up for lost ground since they offered late in the process, but I'm not counting out Miami just yet. And he's expected to visit Colorado in the coming weeks, but hopefully Miami can get him back on campus before that signing period. But I do like where Miami stands right now as they work to flip him from USC.
All right, Azubi, the last recruit I want to talk about, staying on the defensive side of the ball, but out of the defensive backfield, is TJ Alford, the athletic linebacker committed to Ohio State right now. He's another South Florida product. He's committed to Ohio State, but has been to Miami on numerous times this year, including that home opener. What do you think the chances of him flipping potentially to the Hurricanes are?
Inside Scoop listeners, we love Prize Picks. You know how to play. You pick 2 or more players, then select more or less on their stat line. Submit your lineup. It takes less than 60 seconds. And right now, If you play with $5, win or lose on that $5, you're going to have $50 in your account. Last week, I paired Shador Sanders on the more than on his passing yards, along with Ryan Williams on 68 yards receiving. I hit more than on that. He went for 73, and boom, I'm winning money. It's easy. Prize Picks, easy, fun, great way to play daily fantasy while you watch your favorite college football team. Let me know who you guys got in your lineup this week. I know Coach Prime said Travis Hunter is a go, so I'm probably going to take more than on his receiving yards. But in the comment section below, I need some winners. Let me know who we're playing in Prize Picks. And also, go to prizepicks.com/inside scoop. Use promo code inside scoop to receive that guaranteed 50 when you play 5. So go to prizepicks.com/inside scoop. Use promo code inside scoop. Receive $50 on 5. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
I think these chances are, high as well. For the last 2 cycles, the Miami Hurricanes have flipped the top prospect, from the Sunshine State, from the Buckeyes, and they're looking to do so for the 3rd straight year with TJ Alford, and had the chance to kind of pick his brain a little bit after the game. And the biggest thing that, I took away from that conversation was him just talking about how Mario Cristobal's vision is, actually coming to fruition. He told TJ Alford during, his first few months and years on campus that things weren't where he wanted to be, but sooner or later they were going to be where he wanted to be. And Saturday was a prime example of that. During Mario Cristobal's first year, they got, completely throttled by Florida State, 45-3. TJ saw that game. Just 2 years later, Miami's the program, that's delivering the beatings, and, 2 different programs heading in 2 different directions. So TJ's really impressed with, just the progression the program has made, the play from the linebackers. And he's another guy with deep South Florida ties. His dad is from Miami. His dad is a huge Hurricanes fan. So Miami will want nothing more than to keep him, in the Sunshine State. And I think they're doing a great job of positioning themselves to make a late run late in the cycle.
A lot of potential big flip targets for the Hurricanes. A lot of potential to make those wins on the field translate to wins in recruiting as well. We know Azubi and the gang at Kane Sport are going to keep us updated as that goes along. And Azubi, thanks again for joining us. And if you're a Miami fan, comment below. Let us know if you think the Canes have what it takes to maybe keep climbing up that 2025 board when it comes to the top classes in the country.